Welcome, guys, to another trading review. My name is Andre, and welcome to the S&P Academy. First trade was right on Tuesday. It was a gold trade, so let's check it out. We had a bearish 4-hour. The previous one was bullish, but not the best bullish closure, right? Then the next one just wicked up, filled the wick to the left, and came straight back down up until these areas and even broke those areas too. All right, so let's move on to the 1-hour. The 1-hour, we had kind of a salary, but I entered on this candle. Like, this candle wasn't closed yet. Okay, so I entered on this one. We had a wick to fill. We tap into these areas. Not the best previous closure on the 1-hour, but it makes sense, right? It makes sense because it tapped the observational area, and now it has the previous wick to fill right here. Okay, moving on to the 30. All right, so the 30, this line right here, it is on the 15. All right, not the 30. It seems like it closed above some kind of support, but I added this line afterwards, and I'll show you. So the 30 closed inverted salary. It tapped that area as well, rejected. We had a kind of an onion inverted salary to the downside, 4-hour bearish. So yeah, makes sense. And now look at the 15. Okay, so the 15, we had a onion, right? A tap here, a rejection, and a closure back below, right here. And I entered on the break of these lows. Then we had the support formed, and guess what we had? A range to sells. I was already in, of course, but if I wasn't, I would be with a sell stop right here on the break of these lows. But yeah, it didn't break the lows. It closed back again. It started ranging. And now the next one did the work, right? So it tapped into these partials right here, and it closed without a bottom wick. And as you know, once it closes without a bottom wick, I'm out. So I close full position right here. All right, so moving on to the second one, it was a NQ trade, New York Open. 4-hour was bullish, although we had this resistance on the 4-hour. We had this wick to fill, right? So this candle right here, even if it wants to go down, like I was anticipating the wick fill to the left. And after that, if it wants to reject, okay, my trade is already done. So yeah, so 4-hour at resistance, but with a wick to fill. And the idea was the anticipation of that wick fill on the 4-hour. The 1-hour, it closed bullish. So it formed an onion, right? The support, but not the best one, right, guys? You agree? We have a wick right here, which is a big one, right? But nevertheless, it is still a support formed, okay? On the 1-hour, right? Stronger confirmation. And guys, look at this. This is amazing. All right. So we had this closure right here above this resistance, right? So we had this resistance, a strong one to the left. We had this closure right here, closure above. And now the next one, what did we have? A salary with a pack runner. So the candle broke the previous lows and went back up to close above. So at one point, this candle was looking like this, breaking the lows right here, but it rejected and closed back above the resistance right here. Okay, so now I know, based on my knowledge, that this wick now becomes a wick fill. All right, so we had the closure above, and price went down, pack runner broke the previous lows, activated the sellers, and went back up to close above, forming a salary. If this candle breaks this previous high, man, the probability for it to fill the wick to the left is higher, okay? It doesn't mean I'm gonna win the trade, right? But the probability is definitely on my side. So that's what it did. It created a low and broke the previous highs. We had a wick to fill. My partials were on the wick fill, right? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I got stopped out at break even with the 20% left, okay? But yeah, great position. And if I show you the 15, it's not the best one, right? I didn't take this trade based on the 15. As you can see, it's a little bit messy, right? But yeah, on the 15, we also had some kind of fake out. So we had a closure below and a closure back above right here. So fake out on the 15, not the best. kind of messy, no clean range at all on the 15, but with volume and looking at the 30 with the onion celery, it looks amazing. All right, so great trade and a great start of the week. Then later that day, I took a gold trade, all right, also a win. Let's check it out. It was a fade. Yeah, I think it was a fade. So the 4 hour was going up like crazy, right? So there's a resistance here, okay? There's a resistance here on the 4 hour, right here. And now, when I come to the charts, I ask myself, is the 4 hour going to a target or has it tapped target? So in a scenario that the 4 hour is going to a target, it would look something like this, all right? So it's still going, it's still going, it's still going. Once it taps this area, all right, target tap. So at this point, I might be interested in the sells, all right? So target tap on the 4 hour. The 1 hour was bullish, but it closed below this range. The 30-minute was bullish, right? And yeah, I don't think it had a bottom wick at the time, or it had a small one at least. And now look at the 15. This one is a fade, right, guys? This is volume time. I think it was 9:30 exactly, or 9:45 Eastern. But as you can see, we had strong bullish closure, strong bullish closure, strong bullish closure, weak bullish closure. So now, if price wants to keep going up, which by the way it did, it shouldn't break the low right here, right? Now, what happened was this candle made a low, it respected the previous one, made a high, right? And that high broke the previous one. Now, if price wants to go up, why should it re-break its own low? And most importantly, why should it break the previous low? It shouldn't. So the only reason it breaks the previous low, it may be because price doesn't want to go up. So I added my sell stop right here. But then again, it was a counter trend trade. So I couldn't be greedy at all. So I closed full right here. And man, what a close. And why did I choose this closure? Because, well, you cannot see to the left, but to the left, there's a lot of wicks, right? A lot of wicks like this, wicks, rejections, wicks. So yeah, I closed right here, all right? And I think the next one went up. So it was a great closure. Price was too bullish. So whenever you want to take a counter trend trade, it's no time to be greedy. It's time to get in, get out. Price is too bullish. This was a very risky trade, all right? I didn't wait for range to sells. I took an impulse trade called a fade, and it worked. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't, all right? Okay, so moving on to Thursday, I took a gold trade on Asian session, all right? So the 4 hour had no top wick. It was bullish. We had no top wick. If I'm not mistaken, there was some kind of resistance here to the left, right? So I think so. And now, the 4 hour was coming back down, okay? And this is the 1 hour. The 1 hour, beautiful bearish candles, strong bearish, indicating that price wants to keep going down, right? Now, you might think, Andre, the 1 hour is a little bit overextended. Yes, but as long as we have some kind of pullbacks on the lower time frame, for me, it's not that important that the 1 hour just keeps on going, all right? But I want pullbacks on a lower time frame, okay? And if we don't have the pullbacks, at least we have somewhat of an extra confirmation, like celeries, pack runners. If we have a pack runner on the lower time frame, it's price telling me, okay, I don't even have time to wait for a support. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Okay, there we go. So we had two pack runners actually. We had this one on the 30, right? And it went down afterwards. And now we had this one again, and it went down. All right, so obviously on the 30, we didn't have a pullback, but with the pack runner, it looks great. And now I'll show you the 15-minute so you can see. Look at this. Okay, so again, the 1 hour was pretty overextended, the 30 as well, but we had some pack runners right here, right? And on the 15, we had fresh supports. So fresh support here. And then this one closed below, great closure, but we had this support right there. So I decided to stay out of it. And then we had the next closure, and this candle closed below. But then again, it's kind of overextended. The previous support on the previous resistance on the 15 is right here. So at this point, I was waiting for 1, a pullback, 2, a pack runner, 3, a salary. And look what I had. We got a salary. So yeah, all right. So breakout plus salary, volume time, wicked up, tapped these areas, broke the previous lows. It was a fast move, man. Fast move. Great trade. We took this on a live stream. So amazing trade, guys. Then later that day, I took a 9:30 Eastern trade. All right, an amazing trade, guys. I think it is the best trade that I've taken in a while. All right, and when I say the best trade, it's not the best outcome. Look at the outcome. It was a big loss, right? 1,000 loss. So I went heavy on this one. Okay, and guys, I wanted to tell you, like, when you start collecting data, you start to realize the setups that give you the most money and that lose you the most money. All right, A+ setups, B setups, C setups, whatever, right? So this setup, I have around 85 to 90% win rate. That said, I went heavy on this one. All right, and on the setups that I have lower win rate, I go lower size. Okay, and this is the key to what? So whenever you have the issue that many of you, I know you have, right? The issue that, oh, Andre, when I make money on 2 or 3 trades and then I lose on the other one, it wipes out all my winners. All right, so maybe you'll start to, maybe you should start to identify which setups you should size up and which setups you should size down. Okay, that said, you will realize that the ones that you decided to size down, you will lose more often than the ones that you decided to size up. And the ones that you decided to size up will compensate the losses of the ones you decided to size down. Guys, I promise you it all makes sense. But let's get right onto it, all right? So the 4 hour, when I took the trade, this was a 9:30 trade, a lot of volume. And the 4 hour, when I took the trade, it was looking like this, all right? So it already had a wick, had clean range, right? So yeah, I was anticipating the 4 hour to just keep on going, okay? Now, the 1 hour was a little bit tricky, right? Because we had this support on the 1 hour, but we had also this wick to fill, okay? Now, the only thing I'm going to say here is this 1 hour that went up and broke the lows like twice or 3 times even, right? So it made a low, it opened here, right? It made a low, went up, made a high, broke the low, broke the high, broke the low, and broke the high like 3 times or maybe twice, all right? So after that, I'm going to have a sell stop on the break of the current low for the 3rd time or 4th time, I don't know. And we already have a great top wick. So the top wick was up until these areas, I would say, maybe. And now the 1 hour was breaking its own low for the 3rd time, okay? So I was anticipating this 1 hour with a lot of volume, okay, 9:30. Now, look at the 30. This is the 30-minute. We have this observational area right here, all right? So support here, support here. I measure this range. I call this an observational area. This candle went up. The next one went down, tapped it, and rejected and closed back below. So 30-minute inverted salary. And now the 15 also gave us an inverted salary. Okay, so inverted salary right here, tap that area, close below. And then the next one went up too and closed like this too. Bearish. So this is a great trade. And on this candle, again, guys, it went up, gave us a great top wick. And yeah, I had my sell stop right here. It activated me and went up in like 5 minutes. I think it was like 5 to 10 minutes it stopped me out. No more than that. So amazing trade. The volume came in just to the other side. And again, this is proof that this is all probabilities, all right? All probabilities. And if I see this trade again, guess what? I'm going to size up again, all right? That's what I do. All right, guys? Okay, so moving on to Friday, we took an Asian trade on NQ, all right? I remember this one too. Yeah, this one was a live trade as well. So the 4-hour was bullish right here, but it made a top wick and started to reject. All right, we had this area, something here, and it started to reject after tapping. Okay, the 1-hour was bullish, but we were still below this area right here. A lot of mass, right? A lot of confusion right here. We had this wick, and yeah, the 1-hour opened up, and it made a top wick, tried to fill the wick to the left, and came back down. Let's see the 30. The 30, we closed inverted celery, okay? And we took a current candle entry, right? Because price made the low, made a great high, and rebroke the low. Volume time, all right? This is volume time. And okay, TP right there, parcels right here on this area, okay? And again, this was a fast move, man. And I risked way too little because I did the math wrong. So I wanted to risk more on this one, okay? And if you look at the 15, what do we have here? We have a range to sells, all right? So guys, look at this. This is the concept I've explained a lot of times in my live streams, okay? So price is going up, the 4-hour is bullish, all right? Now we have a bearish closure. What do you think is going to happen if price breaks this low right here? Right here, there's a lot of sellers. So sellers got in, boom. Now, where do you think the stop loss is on the sellers? So I don't know, around here. So this candle that got the sellers in right here went up and closed bullish. Now, who do you think got in on the break of these highs? The buyers. And who do you think got stopped out? The sellers. Now, the buyers got in, it wicked up and came back down to close below support. All right? And who do you think is going to get stopped out on a break of these lows? Or at least these ones? The buyers. So now the sellers get in again, the buyers get stopped out. There's a lot of sell momentum, right? So that was the idea, range to sells, all right? Obviously, the 4-hour was bullish, and yeah, we had this target, it tapped, and I think it went straight up, because then it closed with a fake out. I was actually looking for the buys right afterwards, but I have a rule that I have to journal the trade first after taking another trade, right? I don't care about missing a move at all, man, okay? So great trade, guys, great trade. Little range to breakout to the downside, and yeah. All right, moving on to the last trade, 930 as well, man. Like we took, I think it was 2 or 3 trades on 930 this week, and all losses. So 930 did us dirty. Okay, so the 4-hour was bullish. Okay, so made the bottom week, made the top week, and now we kind of had a pullback on the 4-hour, but I was expecting it to keep going. It had room, right? The 1-hour was bearish, and this is the only thing right here. This is the only thing. The 1-hour closed below this support, so we had a 1-hour breakout with a wick to fill right here. Okay, so I was not quite into this trade until I saw this 1-hour. It made a low, went up, and rebroke its low. So at one point the 1-hour was looking something like this, let's say like this, and rebreaking its own low now. Boom. So I thought, okay, thank God I didn't get myself involved in these buys, because this is clearly a 1-hour breakout and it wants to go down. And guess what happened? It activated some sellers right there and went back up and rebroke its own high. So, okay, at this point, 930 volume, rebroke the low twice, and now is rebreaking the high for the 3rd time. I was expecting this to be aligned with the 4-hour, right? Well, let's see what happened. The 30-minute looked amazing. Look at this. This is the 30. The 30, we had an onion right here, a support formed, and the next one gave us the back runner on the 30. This is the break of that 1-hour low I was talking about. It gave us the back runner and rebroke the previous high. Okay, so let's see. And the 15, look at this. This looked amazing. This is another amazing trade on 930. Look, guys, this is all probabilities. We took, at least I took, 2 amazing trades on 930 this week. I would say A to A plus trades, and both were a loss. Okay? Look at this. The 15 closed above this resistance right here. This one closed celery. And now this one wicked down and made a low up until here, I would say. And then I had my buy stops. But then it went even further down and broke the 1 hour low again, giving us the back runner on the 30 and 15 and breaking the 1 hour low again. So I even increased my size. It broke the high, and with the volume, I was expecting price to do this, right? Well, it didn't. So what happened was this candle wicked down and went up, broke the previous highs and started to reject and closed down below again. What is this, guys? What is this? This here is a range to sell. So if I wasn't in the trade, I was more like, yo, this is going down. So what happened? I closed my trade right here. Right here, I accepted that, the trade is not what I got myself into anymore, right? So we had a fresh support right here, and then we had a closure below that support, okay? And by the way, the next one was the 4 hour open right here. This is the 4 hour open, a new 4 hours. So this candle can easily just go down like this to stop me out, or I mean to create the bottom wick of the 4 hour, and that bottom wick stops me out, and then after that it just goes up. Who knows, right? But once we had the closure below, I managed my risk. I closed the position full, and yeah, I accepted the outcome, right? And by the way, it went to full TP. This candle, the new 4 hour, went up to full TP without a bottom, right? And that's gonna happen. I asked myself, I have option A, which is letting the trade go, and option B, which is closing the trade, okay? Option A, letting the trade go. What's the worst that can happen if I let the trade go? Well, I can be stopped out fully, okay? Option B, what's the worst that can happen if I close now and I accept this loss right here, which by the way, I reduced 60%. The worst that can happen is it goes to my TP without me. All right, so we have the worst on one side and the worst on the other side. Which worst I can live better with? This one. All right, I chose the worst that I can live better with. All right, I accepted the outcome. On to the next. All right, guys, so that's it. Great trade anyway, amazing, and 930 trades I've had this week. Not the best results though. I still ended the week green, and that's it, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Join our community. We do live streams every day. We're gonna do London live stream sessions for the next week, and after that too. And just join us, and that we have a great community in there too. People are learning. Iron sharpens iron. Okay, guys. So if you join, I guarantee you that you'll become a better person, and you'll become the person that you need to become for you to start getting money. All right, but the person comes first. The self-development comes first. All right, guys, remember that. Thank you so much. Love you all, and I see you on Monday.